Hi everybody, thank you for joining me today. So we're going to look at the artisan powders. I got 3 in one of the recent sales, and I just wanted to show you really how I use them. The first one I showed you was French Sage. This one right here that we're looking at is Antoinette Pink, and the other one was Parisian Rosewood. And what I do is I mix them with embossing paste, and I use it with my stencils. So that's what we're getting ready to do right here. I'm just taping down one of my papers, and I was trying to figure out how I was going to lay the stencil. I decided just to, leave it straight. And all you do is you tap the powder into the embossing paste and you mix it. Okay, if you need it darker, you add more powder, and you just keep mixing until you have a smooth color. Okay, and then once it looks like everything is blended in, you just go ahead and run it over your stencil, and then when you have it how you like it, you can take it apart. Try to show you up close there. It was still kind of wet. On this particular run through, I did use too much embossing paste. I didn't measure it quite right. And sometimes, it'll happen that way. Sometimes you use too much. If that's the case, if it wasn't for the fact that I was doing the video, I probably would have just made a second card using the same color. So this one is the French Sage. It also reminds me of wasabi. So I'm just mixing it in, and once I had the, the color that I was liking, I once again laid it down and ran it through. Now this time I used just enough, and when I felt like I needed a little bit more, I just kind of rubbed my palette knife along the stencil to try to get more color off, to move it into areas where I felt like I needed it. And for this video, normally I would put my stencils into soapy water, but I'm just using a baby wipe to try and clean it off enough that I can, keep going with the colors. Alright, so for the third one, I put down our embossing paste again, and this time we're going to use the rosewood. And with this one, I decided I wanted to take it darker than I had taken the other ones. So I did it twice. It was starting to get darker. I was like, let's do it again. And that's the great part about it. You can just keep going, adding color, and get it to the color, to the tone that you want it. And what I like about this one is if you had like a brick stencil, I think it would give it like a more authentic, or like kind of that brick color. I think it would be beautiful. So I'm just scraping it through. This time I did use more of the embossing paste, and I was trying to lay it down to see if I could get some more on it. I had a lot left over, so I just kind of laid it down in the open areas. Just to show you, you could put it on your projects with a stencil, without a stencil. It all depends on what kind of look you're going for. So on this one, I'm once again trying to use the baby wipe. I do pause it and go and clean off the stencil with soap and water, because it did harden just a little bit. So these are all 3 with the powders on top. And what I like about this, like I said, with the embossing paste, you can use a lot of different things. You could even do the same thing using your Tim Holtz inks with the embossing paste. Now with these, you're supposed to also be able to color metal, wood. I think it said all you had to do was rub it on there. What I decided to do was I have a paper clay that I did in one of the molds, and I was like, well, let's see if we can, use it on that. So that's what I'm doing right there. I'm just on the raised part adding the different color, I even added some water, so if I wanted to get the color a little bit darker, I just spritzed a little bit of water on my mat here, and you know, added the powder into that to give it, you know, a different look. Now the metal piece, it was kind of hard because to me you really couldn't see any difference to it. It was more obvious the change or the difference with the paper clay piece that we're working on. And then I'm trying to hold it up so you can see the different colors. It's really neat. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot more you can do with it, and you know, I definitely suggest them though. They're fun. It gives you a wider palette with your stencils, different color options. So I don't know, I'd say get them. I like the artisan powders, and play with it and test them out for yourself. Who knows? It's really a great medium. So once again, thank you guys for joining me. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and share button. And I'm going to have a link for the boutique to where the artisan powders are. I don't think we have these colors anymore because they have new colors out. And at the end of the video, there will be links to the last 2 Technique Tuesday videos. Thank you guys, and you have a great day.